coming after you.
They state their position that you're deviant, you're dangerous. Surely you're not one of us.
Be you lesbian or gay, they'll take your human rights away. They're coming after you.
And I'm taking an interest,
and I'm taking a stand.
Now they
came for the commies, they came for the gays, and they came for the blacks, and we turned away. They came for the unionists, came for the Jews. Soon they'll be coming for me.
I gotta stand up for you.
They're coming after you. They put their names on the line. Ah, the evil that some do.
Sad sign of the times when the world's out of control. Got to blame some other soul. Point a finger, call it sin. It happens now and it happened then.
They're coming after you.
And I'm taking an interest,
and I'm taking a stand. Now they came for the commies, they came for the gays, and they came for the blacks, and we turned away. They came for the unionists, came for the Jews. Soon they'll be coming for me.
I gotta stand up for
Soon
you.
they'll be coming for you. Soon they'll be coming for me.
Gotta stand up for
Soon
you.
they'll be coming for you.
Stand up.
Soon they'll be coming for me.
Gotta stand up for you.
All right.
Hello, I lost my glasses. Talk for a moment and I'll see if I found them, if they're lying in bed somewhere. Oh, Jason will be so thrilled to know that my thing is running. This is that kind of a day, isn't it?
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. That was Linda Allen's song, They Are Coming. And you may have seen that she wrote that when the Oregon Citizens Alliance was going after gays and lesbians. So
Well,
she said
and
it was.
let's widen that up a little. That's why we're playing it today. Linda's been with us really since the very beginning. Her production company is October Rose. And she wrote that, and there'll be kind of a twin one to go with it at the end of the show. But she felt very strongly she wanted us to see the poem, to hear the music, and to stop and think. And today we do have a little more stop and think content than we usually do. Usually we run thoughtlessly through, through the land. But today we've got some real content. And Regina, see, I'm so excited I can hardly stand it. Regina, what little kind of content do you have? Start. What? I wasn't supposed to start.
Oh, sure. Little bit of content. Well, we are so happy that you're here. Wherever you're tuning in from, I'm sure it's cold and chilly. We rarely have Floridians here on our show. So I hope you're all happy and healthy and doing great things in your community. And today's show is really about us coming together and sharing our ideas. I will be taking copious notes on the whiteboard. And as always, we'll get those to you. I encourage you, go ahead, Dorothy.
Shouldn't you introduce the whiteboard? Since it gets more mail than anybody else on the show, you should.
That's right. And a little, maybe you all don't know this, but I was an undiagnosed girl with a learning disability and ADHD, but nobody ever picked it up. They just said, oh, Gina she has so much potential if she would just sit down and do her own work instead of helping all of her classmates. So this whiteboard, this Post-it, is one way of helping me keep track of notes and then also remember what we've talked about. I think it helps to see your words in front of you. So All right. So, and yes, I encourage you to open the chat because I'm sure there will be a lot of resources and good ideas happening there. And as always, use your reactions to show Dorothy some love.
But you're still alive, you know, and that will be, oh, thank you. That's so great. That's good. And our friend Norma is here. Good morning, Norma.
Good morning.
Let's see, push over that way a little bit. Here comes Norma. No, back the other way. Come on. Wait, let me do this. There's Norma. So we're ready to get going, and not a moment too soon. So the first thing we always do is introduce our guests, and naturally you'll know it's me that I haven't got everything out of order. So I'm going to be kind of playing my way along. But our guests today are, let's see, Joella Oldfield. Where is Joella? Good morning, Joella. Yay, there's Joella.
Good morning.
That's right. Good morning, Joella. And Joella, we need to be able to hear your sound.
Oh, how's that?
And are you in the bedroom? How exciting.
I'm in my office. It's just
really?
next
Well, that's nowhere near as exciting. And
no, it's not.
so anyway, so we'll be talking a little bit about what we really can do to make a difference. We heard from our opening song, and so much that's been in the news, we hear a lot of people talking about, well, I can't do anything. You know, I would be way too nervous to make a call or anything. But we have, I think, some good information. So we will get back to you for that in a moment. But in the meantime, what's your thought for the day? I bet you didn't know you had to do a thought for the day.
I didn't know I had to do a thought, but you know, crazy things have happened in the last couple of days. I got hacked for $1,400. I have a friend who's very critically ill. And as I was wanting to be mad at somebody, and I thought to myself, you know, the only thing I can do is turn this around. I can pray like crazy for my friend. I can send funny little notes to him. I can call and sing a song, which is really quite horrible, and make him laugh. And if I never get the $1,400 back, I'll be sad. But it's so minimal in the whole scope of things going on in the world. So I decided my thought for today is, thank you, God, that I'm here, and let's see what we can do on a positive note. That's my thought.
A wonderful thought. Thank you, Joella. And we'll be back with you in a minute. And next guest is Stephen Wilhelm. I actually have, in confession mode, I've met him before. He didn't think that was funny.
Good morning.
Okay, but what we're going to try to do is we're going to build on Steve. You were here about a year ago, give or take a little, and with some do's and don'ts for trying to get in touch with our representatives. And what we're going to be showing today is how a couple of people actually did that. So while you're thinking that over, what's your thought for the day?
I guess my thought for the day would be, if you're going to do something, do it today.
Because
good.
Okay. Many pithy retorts spring to mind, and I won't say any of them. Okay, we'll be back with Steve in just a minute. And then Annie Hobson is also one of those who followed Steve's instructions, and you're going to be just astonished, and I think he is too, at what she's been able to accomplish. Annie, good morning. Quick.
Well, Dorothy, you have done a lot for me to realize how little it takes to astonish people.
Thanks a lot, kid. You want to try it before I just turn off your sound? Do you want to come back and say that again? Anyway. So
I don't think it's so much, but it's because it's like you do tiny steps, and all of a sudden you look back and it's a long way.
And that's the way life is. So you've got some, and as we talked yesterday, and I hadn't even known before, you had carried the original instructions to a really astonishing result. So we're going to hear about that, and we can hardly wait. In the meantime, what's your thought for the day?
Oh, my thought for the day is, uh, it really, yeah. In order to be healthy, it's a lot to have your needs met is way more important than cutting out the bad things.
We'll hear more about that. And while we've got her here sitting quietly, she doesn't sit quietly too often. While she's here sitting quietly, I'm going to tell you we're going to be having Annie on a regular basis to talk about some of the things that she and her group have been able to do. And she'll explain that last little quote a bit too. So Annie, will be hearing from you a little bit later. Has our Crafty Canadian come in yet?
Hi, I'm here, Dorothy.
Well, hello. Why can't I see? She's going blind. Yes. Well, okay. We're just introducing you. Say good morning to Norma.
Good morning, Norma.
Good morning. And so what are you going to be doing for us?
I'm going to make a little heart basket envelopes for you. Show everyone how to do this little craft. It's really cute. And you can put things in it. It's a little basket, but.
And you'll also be thinking about the best and worst Valentines you ever got.
I've had a few. A few of both.
We're giving a prize for the worst Valentine. So we'll be back with you in a few minutes.
Thanks,
and so you can see it's show. Isn't that cute? I'm watching stuff go up the screen. So it's shaping up to a fun, interesting, and fast-moving show today, as we like to say in this business. So, where to start? Christopher Johnson hasn't gotten to say anything. Christopher, you and Gina give housekeeping tips and launch us on our way. I do, he says.
I think Christopher should share a thought for the day.
Oh,
He's so wise.
Well, all right. So my thought for the day, there is a quote from Jackie Robinson, whose birthday was January 31st. And this quote is timely and timeless, all of that. The quote is, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives."
Yeah.
So a life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. We can all make an impact.
Yeah, we can. That's what we're going to talk about today. And let's see, any housekeeping, either of you, any tips, anybody, anything, everybody knows how to do everything anyway. So then we will start with we should say that Christopher is a regular on what station, my darling?
I'm the weekend morning host on Michigan Public, the state's largest NPR network.
Yeah, Christopher. Boy, I wish I said that. Thank you so much for coming in and help today. And with that, let's see what we can do, because we've kind of tipped our hand and shown what direction we're going in. But with so many people sitting in the dining room, where there are, by the way, 3 guys and 172 women, guys don't. They don't live as long. No. We have noticed that everybody falls into one or two categories. They either say, "Oh, I just don't listen to the news anymore. There's nothing I can do." Or they have something to say. They wish to give an organ recital and tell about what parts of their organs are no longer working correctly. But nobody says, if somebody would tell me what to do, I'd do it. And I've got to say, I'm pleased to say that about a year ago, we had, as I was saying earlier, Stephen Wilhelm, whom I will admit to having in the house for a long time. And Steve has been, Steve, bring him in, if you will, please. Steve, you've been a volunteer in various areas for quite a while, haven't you?
Yes, but actually not probably as long as I should have been. I am very late to the party. I spent about 45 years thinking that all a person needed to do to support democracy was just vote in every election. So I faithfully did that. And about 10 years ago, I discovered Well, no, actually, there's quite a bit more you need to do because sometimes those elections don't turn out quite the way you wanted them to, and in fact, they can go tragically wrong. So there's a lot more you need to do than just vote.
That's great. And I'm glad you said that about the elections, because that's always been kind of a proud thing in our family. We never miss an election. But I'm afraid maybe we've often thought that was enough. So when you came here last year with some ideas and so did you volunteered in the No Kings protest and one thing and another?
Uh, yes, absolutely. I would. I in fact, I'm sure that'll come up a little bit today. But certainly when I first started out, protesting was not my gig. I'm still. It doesn't quite seem like protesting, but anyway, when I first started out, it was just calling congressional offices because that was where I started, where I first learned that there was more you could do than just vote. And you kind of, and in fact, I think Annie maybe will talk about that quite a bit more, but you kind of discover once you start out and you get involved in things that you meet other people who, kind of think the same way you do, and you discover that, well, actually, there's a lot more you can do as a group that's a lot more effective and has a lot more impact than just what you can do as an individual. And so you just, at least I did, just sort of naturally evolve from just doing things on your own to doing things with other people.
Well, so I'd like to bring in, that's really, really good. And, probably true of most big projects. I'm betting that, most things start that way. But I'd like to bring Joella Oldfield in. Joella she is a mover and shaker in our area, and head of the Western Heritage Center in Puyallup, and lifelong friend. And she heard you and she paid attention. And this is what did you pick up, Joella?
Well, I have to tell you, I am really busy all the time. And so, like Stephen said, you think if you vote, you're doing the right thing. If you stand your ground, if somebody, says something and you go, I can't really agree with you on that I was doing the right things. And then I listened to you, Stephen, and I have to tell you, you've been that little voice in my back of my head for a year now. And so it's very important to me to go out into the world, to smile at everybody, to say good morning, to tell somebody they look great in an outfit, or stop in a restaurant and say, you have the most beautiful red hair, honey, because I think people need to have some reinforcement, but that's just on a small scale. So I went and did my research. I got all the phone numbers. And you guys have to forgive me because I'm trying really hard to not cough on you. And so every day I pick one person to call. Sometimes I'll do 3 or 4 if I'm really riled up. But the point that you made that was so important to me is to not get on the phone and make it a dialogue, to not tell them your 10 complaints, to pick one subject for every phone call and therefore make an impact. And that's what I have been doing. I have everyone written down. I have the phone number hanging on a sticky tag on my computer where it stays daily. And I literally, in between my art show work, I simply pick up the phone and make a call and say, what are you doing about the ICE situation? This is not what we voted for. This is not our country. Whatever I want to say, I make it about one subject. But again, I am one person, and unfortunately, I have to leave and go to physical therapy because I would love to hear what the rest of you have to say today. So I'm hoping somehow Dorothy has this tape so I can hear it later.
Well, we don't tape anymore, but it is going to be available.
Okay, good. Because Stephen, I really did learn from you. And I've been telling my friends the same thing. I've been emailing the phone number to them saying, listen, stop complaining on Facebook. It does you no good. You're just going to get in an argument with somebody you don't know. Start picking up the phone, start calling the people that we elected into these positions and ask them to do their jobs. You don't have to be disrespectful. Matter of fact, usually I'm kind of perky and, I'm probably annoying as the devil to them. But I want them to understand that, I did vote for you. I don't have to keep voting for you. I want to see actual action. I want to see that you are doing the things I felt you would do when I elected you. So it's kind of like my little stand on my own 2 feet and say something, but I am totally grateful to you, Steve, because it gave me the courage to just start doing that as an individual that nobody would care whether they heard from or not. But I do believe we all have a voice. And I feel like this is one little tiny thing we can do. So that's it. That's what I've been doing. And if nothing else, it makes me feel darn good. Every time something makes me cry on the television and I'm sick to my heart, and I call my friend James, and he's kind of gorgeous like Christopher, and that big, deep, soothing voice, and I'll have a conversation with him about what's going on. I get his intake on it. I talk to my kids and my husband, and then I say, I need to say something to somebody. So that's my next call the next day, is whatever happens to be going on and how I feel about it. So it was kind of a kick in the pants. I appreciate it. And I'm going to continue to do it. If I get so old I can't run around and change my own little community, then I can sit here on the telephone every darn day. So we don't ever have to stop doing something, one person, one step at a time, to make a difference. I just truly believe that.
That is just wonderful. Steve, you must have a thought or two. She does have to go, but you want to say something.
I was just going to say, Joella, that really well said. And just to give credit where credit is due, none of these ideas are original. Everything that I am sharing none of it is anything I thought of, but there are some fabulous resources out there, whether it's Indivisible or Five Calls or Jessica Craven at Chop Wood, Carry Water. There are some really great resources out there, both in terms of, explaining what to do, how to do, why it's important, but just also kind of helping you stay focused on, here's what's going on now, and this is why it's important, and this is why it would be good to focus on this. You can absolutely, like you were saying, you can call on any topic you want, but it does have the most impact if you kind of call about what's going on right now. But what's the point? There are a lot of really great resources that are available, and you don't have to wait until you trip across a conversation or meet somebody new. It's all available right now.
Wonderful. I did write down all those names last time you were talking and did do some research on them. And I'm thrilled to know that the world seems so overwhelming sometimes. And I know, like Dorothy said, you run into a group of people and they either all talk about what hurts, what drug they're taking, what surgery they're having. And I remember my dad, who lived to be just 3 weeks short of 99 and painted every day and loved life so large. And he came home one day and said, Josie, I'm never going out to lunch with those people anymore. And I said, why is that, Dad? He says, they're just too damn old for me. And I said, Daddy, you realize you're like 10 years older than all of them, don't you? He said, I don't care. They need to get out and fight for what's right. They need to help kids. They need to do something, and they're boring. I thought, oh, God, help me if I ever become boring. And he's right. I mean, he was 99 and basically, and still making a difference, still having his voice heard. So I want to say to all my friends that are slowing down and whining all the time about what they can't do, stop with that. We were 20 once, I'm 80 now. Let's get with it. There's a lot we can do. So thanks to all of you. I love this group. I wish all my crazy appointments weren't usually on Monday mornings. And I'm really sad to leave today, but God bless you all. And Dorothy, I'll probably see you soon.
Well, I hope so, my dear. So yeah,
we had a hot date the other day.
That is right. Thanks so much.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You too.
Bye, honey.
So, Steve, what I'm wondering is, do we have anything in writing? The show today will be available. In fact, it will be sent to everyone who registered, the recording. But is there anything? It always helps me to have things written down. Is there anything in writing about what you suggest that people do?
Well, so I can't remember what we did last time. We might be able to share something after the call. I see that Chris has put a couple of the resources that I mentioned in the in the chat, and those would be, thank you, Christopher. Those would be really excellent resources if people are looking to do some research, kind of like Joella was mentioning, and you kind of want to figure out what works and why it works, and just kind of see things laid out. It's a little easier to read it than remember what somebody said. Myself, I would start with the Indivisible link that Christopher posted, and they just do a really great job of explaining how the world works. They're former congressional staffers, the people that run that are the leaders of Indivisible. So they've got kind of a federal perspective. This is what if you're trying to influence the federal government, that's pretty much entirely what they focus on. So they're really great for that. But if you're looking to do something maybe a little bit more than just trying to influence what the federal government is doing, Five Calls is a pretty good resource because they're a little bit they spread a little bit wider than just federal. So those are two really great places to start. It will keep you busy for quite a while, even if you just click on those two links.
That's wonderful, and we'll build on that. I mean, because you keep hearing new things or different things, and it's good to have that bank of information. But to finish up this segment, I want to introduce you to Annie Hobson, who I think will absolutely astonish you. She absolutely astonished me. This is Annie. Hi there. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I'm feeling fine and wonderful. I just thank you, Stephen, for sending that message. And for me, it was all about finding the little steps, and this whole idea that Joellen had said that life can be overwhelming sometimes, and that used to be like a truism, but overwhelm is being now a conscious attack on us. That is actually what they want. Is they want me to be overwhelmed, and the part of me that said, what, you're attacking me with that? Oh, I'm just going to stay whelmed, and this is my defense. I'm, as a political action, I am going to not freeze. And for me, that's a chore, and I see other people.
Sure. Let's start back with when you heard Steve's original input. How did you start from that? I know that you built quite an empire, I think we almost might say. But how did you start to build this? How do we?
I didn't build. I connect. Good. I started with chop wood, carry water, and then they say, "Oh yes, go call your representative and tell them about the thing." What I did, that step was too big for me, and I just got to. So I put my representatives on my favorites on my phone list, so that I didn't have to look it up. I was just like, ding. Then I went around to my friends who are local, and I sent them the phone numbers. Not only the ones in here in DC, I'm right outside of DC, but the local chapters, because the local, they have more time to talk to you. I looked up my children's representatives, and I sent them. I looked up other people who are willing to listen to me, like, yammer on about things. And I encourage them, and then I send them the thing about Jessica Craven is at the very end. She has a script every day. So even though I stopped right there, like, oh, it's my guilty admission. I've made actually very few calls myself. However, I am responsible for other people making calls that they would not have because I've been bridging.
That's really wonderful. Yeah. So Steve, can you build on that in any way?
Well, it's interesting. So you were Annie discovered a couple of really powerful things, I think. The first one is, everybody can do something. We all have things that we're good at, and we all have things that we hate to do, and so but everybody has something that they can do. And in fact, you might discover you've kind of got a little bit of a secret power, you can, or superpower, I mean, that you can do something that nobody else can do. So Annie, it kind of sounds like you're somebody who, like you were saying a minute ago, is really good at connecting. You see a need and you see somebody who can do something, and you're able to connect those people. And some people might feel, kind of, I'll just say, might feel a little guilty. Well, I'm not the ones making the call. Well, in fact, if you were making calls, then you would just be one person making calls, but you actually are able to you have enabled a lot of people to make calls. So you could even make an argument that I'm doing more than just one person because I'm connecting all these people and I'm giving them the tools that they need and that they want, to do that. And I think the other thing, and I've kind of made this discovery myself, Annie, that you discover just sort of organically or by accident or whatever, however you want to say it, that
Mhm.
actually there's a lot more that can be done in a group than I would ever be able to accomplish by myself. That's sort of, the one of those magical things about democracy, is that if we all kind of work together, we're able to do a lot more than any of us are able to do individually. So those are some really powerful discoveries that you've made, I think, Annie.
And I would,
Yes, thank you.
I was really excited to hear about them because they're all things that I hadn't really thought about, which goes to show, if you get started doing something you can do, it will build. Now, Carol Cropley asks, who is Jessica Craven? So you might want to, somebody say a little about her?
You know what? I don't, I
She's
can't
the
give
the
you.
person who does chop wood carry water on Substack.
Right, but what else do you know about her?
You know what, Annie, do you know anything else about her? Because all I know about her, I can't even remember how I came across her, but somebody it's kind of like the magic of Substack. Somebody recommended her, and I just started taking a look at what she put out every day. And as you were saying, she's a great resource. She's got a, kind of a good way of looking at the world. And plus, like you said, she's got a real here's something real concrete you can do, and you don't even have to think of what to say. Let me give you an idea. But what her backstory is, I don't know anything about her. Do you, Annie?
I don't know about her far background, but her effect this year is amplifying uh, ways that people can make a difference. And she's such a warm cheerleader about like, hey, let's go save democracy together. And then every Sunday she has on the subject, these are the good things that happened. And there are links to each one. And because I am easily overwhelmed, I very much enjoy her style because she's so warm and informative. That's like the root of charisma for me. And she has, uh, several, not every day, because that would be too much for me, but every day she has the list of this is what's going on and links to if I want to know more. And I only pick one or two knowing more things. And then at the end, she has even scripts for here's the things that are important today. One of the things that I did call is not only just the representatives, but it's also in the players are uh, corporations. So I called Costco headquarters and said, "Yay, you for standing up to, uh, you
Good.
know, the right for standing up for us. I'm not. I'm counting on you to help me to not shop at Target now." is is what I said. And here's
And,
a
and
little cheat code about calling is, oh, apparently leaving voice messages counts.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough for me. If that counts, then I don't have to talk to a person and process what they have to say and respond. Yeah, I can leave messages.
yeah, two things real quick. It looks like Gina put the link to Chop Wood Carry Water, which is the daily call to action that Jessica Craven puts out. So thank you so much, Gina. And again, Annie, you're exactly right. There's a lot of ways that you can kind of crack the code, and certainly one of them is, gee, I don't want to talk to anybody. Great, call after hours. They shut down at 6 o'clock. They're going to leave a voicemail counts just as much as if you talk to a live human being, and you can only talk for 2 minutes. So even if you want to call all three of your members of Congress, it only takes you 6 minutes.
And we should mention at this point that Annie is going to be with us on future shows now to explain the world to us. She's going to be telling us where she's found places.
Share my baby steps.
Yeah. Her baby steps, which I think is a great idea. So you may want to come by from time to time. I hope you will. If you any last one thing I want to say, let's see, we will have all of this available to everybody who's registered today. We'll send you a link to the show. And there's also about a 1.5 minute recording of Steve's telling exactly step by step how to make the calls. Did you remember that you did that?
Sure.
Okay. Anyway, in future times, Annie's going to share that. And so I was hoping, I think I was tastefully or tactfully or whatever, thinking you might want to come back from time to time. I mean, maybe. It's been
You're directing that to Annie, I assume, right? Because she was quite excellent.
She is excellent. This one is yours.
Oh, okay.
It probably be most times it'd probably be better because she's got a load of information, which is dynamite, really. And I like that it's baby steps because be frank, most of us are doing baby steps. Hardly yet. Yeah, right. Me too.
I want to add about baby steps, like the superpower of baby steps. People see baby steps, they have very short legs, so the baby steps are small, but babies are relentless.
Yeah, well,
when they're learning to walk, they fall down, they get up and they walk some more, and they fall down and they get up and walk some more. So that relentless falling and getting up and walking more pattern is what does it for me.
I want you to meet my son, Relentless Wilhelm. Anyway, so
that's why I got that connection going on early. I must have felt that.
I think what we now
Pleased
have
to meet you.
The Crafty Canadian is going to tell us about how to make a Valentine carrier. And then I think after that, we're going to go to a round robin where everybody can ask questions, share ideas, ask for money, whatever you need to do. So Stephen, I don't know if you're able to stay on or do you have to move on?
I can stay on for a bit.
Okay. Well, we'll be entertaining. It'll be all right. It'll be okay.
Excellent.
Great. This is all. You know what, Christopher? We didn't ever show Annie's pictures. When do you think we were gonna? We'll show those after the Crafty Canadian. I don't know. I mean, we'll just show them because she's got these ones. Annie, you can tell about what happened, and we do have the pictures.
We could save them for future because those are for the Bridge Brigade.
We'll show, yes. Well, let's show a couple because they're good pictures. And they're good enough that we can show them twice. So we'll be right back to you. Now, usually in real time, we'd say after these commercial breaks, don't you go to sleep now.
I won't.
Okay. Where is my friend Sandra?
I'm right here, Dorothy. Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So everybody say good morning to Sandra. They're all waving at you.
I am the Canadian in the group, and I find it very interesting because what you guys do affects us very deeply, and what we do affects you. My family is from the States, and of course, most of us Canadians wandered up across the line at one point, turn of the century. So bless everyone, and Annie, thank you because you are the person that we need. I will not instigate anything, but if someone tells me to phone someone, I will phone them. So that people like me need that, people like you to say, here's the number, why don't you give them a call? Call them on Wednesday, Sanders, at 7 o'clock every Wednesday, and I would do it faithfully for the rest of my life until you told me not to. So you keep up the good work, inspire people to do that, because most people that I know have that ability. I do not, so it's good. It's good.
But I think it was almost like a door opening for me, is that there are other ways to do it. You don't just have to do it this one way.
And it's a way to channel our frustration and our need to be heard is exactly it. Yeah, I scream in the corner. So having a phone number to call would be much more productive. And I know us Canadians can do it as well. And we should, because we're way too complacent.
Well, Gina writes in chat, people like me need people like you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So what have you brought for us to do now, Norma? Sandra's going to tell us how to make a Valentine.
Oh,
yeah. Oh.
And you know, in my family, we didn't go to the store and buy the Valentine cards, and mine were always the weakest ones at school. Until I learned how to be a little bit creative with my scraps of paper, and now my grandkids are making these. So I'm going to show you, and these are little pocket envelopes, and I've just put a hole punch and a little string there so you can hang it on someone's door or on your window, put something in it if you like, or not,
What do you put in it?
A candy, a chocolate, a lottery ticket. What I like to do is make them so the kids can find them and get a little surprise. You know, it doesn't have to be much. They don't mind. So it's really simple, Dorothy. I'm just going to pull down my and feel free to try to interrupt me. Right? It's always a thing. I get very excited about showing my crafts. So any craft, not necessarily my original craft. So this one I got off the Pinterest, but I thought it was cute. So the secret is here we're going to have strips of paper, and you don't want them to be too heavy. These are quite light. There's different cardstock qualities, but you don't want anything too hard. The stiffer they get, the harder they are to manipulate. I started this one while the show was going on, and I'll work on that. But the stiffer the paper, and you'll see why it gets a little bit harder. But these shiny ones are, and I had one last night. I had a shiny one all made up, and I cannot find it. So we're gonna cut a couple of strips of paper, and I was a drafter all my life and used a ruler, so I don't anymore. I just go by the seat of my pants. So I've just cut these strips, and the secret is you don't want them square. You want them like a strip, because you will put them together once you've woven them, and you want to make sure that you've got enough extra paper at the top, if you see. So what I've done is just fold this piece of paper in half. And this one with the fold edges, I'm going to put them together and just draw a line where they match. And then I flipped it over and drew another line. Now, I cut this one already up just past the line that I created. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, you want to make sure you're cutting from the fold. You want that fold to be intact. Don't cut it from the open edge. So I'm just going to cut it in half. And again, you can measure things up, but I don't. I'm just going to cut as well a little bit above my line. So, you want to be fairly accurate. And you can measure everything up if you want to. Again, you want to make sure your stripes are longer than wider. So now I've marked those two, and I've cut them, and I've cut them just past the line. And I'm just going to turn these inside out so I won't see the line anymore. Okay, and then we'll start our weaving process. So now I've just covered up that line, or you can erase it. So the weaving process is very simple. You want to put one inside the other. And then you want to put this one in here. And you'll put this one, if you can see how I'm doing this on the next. Now, if I don't get all kabooberated here. And you know, the funnest thing about doing crafts is you can get really everything out on this piece of paper, you know? It can be your friend or your enemy. And in the end, you can make it do what you want to most of the time. So as you can see, I'm just going, and this is the point about the lighter paper. It's very much more easy to manipulate once you get going in your strips and your weave. But everyone knows how to weave. It's in and out, in and out. And as you can see, I'm going along quite nicely. If my paper gets too crimpled, it doesn't matter, it all evens out in the end, really. So then don't forget that you've got these ends here, and as you go, you'll want to do a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom, so you're not like cramming this one in at the end. So you want to just kind of encourage your paper to go with you.
Sandra,
Mm-hmm.
one of our audience asks, have you ever done that with felt? And I was wondering the same thing.
No, I haven't, but I have done it with that foamy paper.
Foamy paper.
Yeah, you know, the I don't know, it's just a craft. I don't have a piece out, Dorothy, but it's the soft foam sheets that you can get for other crafts. You get them at the dollar store in packs of different colors. So those ones, and because they're a flexible material, they actually work really well. But a cloth one sounds good. I think I'm going to get on that as soon as I get off the radio here.
Well, I've been thinking that right along. I'm glad to see it, and another audience member did too, because I think that would, you know, and then you'd have much more a feeling of maybe there was going to be more money coming.
Yeah, a little bit more upscale. That's for sure. Yeah, that would be really, actually, that's exactly the kind of inspiration that I love getting, because they are a cute little thing to do, and they're easy enough for almost anyone to do them. And yeah, the cloth one, that sounds like a lot of fun. So as you can see, I'm just carrying on and
Well, and I think now that we have the idea, I think we will kind of briskly move along.
yeah, it's just going to take me now. The end one is the important, and to make sure that you're doing it on both sides, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you can slip through without realizing that you haven't tucked in. But yeah, carry on, Dorothy, and thank you very much, everyone, for listening to another craft.
We love you.
Thank
And
you.
we're glad you are here. And when you finish it, you know, hold it up and let us know. And in the meantime, we may find ourselves back waiting fascinated to see what.
Thanks, Dorothy. And again, thank you, Annie. And you know, it's funny, I haven't laughed so hard in a long time when you said that about Dorothy, the little bits, because that's how I started with Dorothy. And now, yesterday, I ordered my second set of business cards in my entire life that are the Crafty Canadian Studios at gmail.com.
Yay. And I still think we ought to think about a book now.
I'm thinking. I think
But don't overthink it.
No, that's right. Put the title of the book on the fridge.
If you want to. That would be good. But you know, you've got all these crafts and all these ideas and your narrative that goes with it. It would just be real easy to put together. So anyway, Crafty.
You'll be hearing from me.
I so hope so. So now, everyone, this is your opportunity, if an opportunity were wanted. And we're going to start by inquiring while you were sitting here watching that wonderful craft. Were you thinking about, Valentines at all? Were you thinking about a Valentine you were hoping you would have gotten and you didn't get it, or anything of that sort?
Yeah. Well, I never get flowers on Valentine's, but I always got them every other week of the year because my husband just thought it was made up and silly. But the best Valentine's was one that went horribly wrong. The power was out. The dinner was burnt. I didn't have the right ingredients, so I just threw things together. And we were first dating, and it was horrible. And we sat by the fireplace and ate beans and fell in love. So Out of the ashes rose a 40+ marriage and going strong.
Well, that is wonderful. That was the good part, you know.
Yeah, well, I got the best and the worst at the same time.
I was thinking the worst Valentine I ever got. There was, and I don't know if my son even knows this, but there was a period where I was going out with a number of fellows, and all were hopeless, I must say. But this one, he stopped. It was Valentine's Day, and we stopped at Fred Meyer. He's in his truck. Stopped his truck, and he left me in the truck and went into the store and came out with the Valentine in a brown bag. He's holding a brown bag, and he handed it over to me. I said, well, you know, couldn't you at least sign your name? Well, no, because this way you can give it to someone else if you.
Oh, that's perfect.
So that's a very easy level to hit. See, oh, when somebody, and I can't read this. Can you read this one, Gina?
Yes, it's from me. I said I used to be so nervous at school because of the conversation hearts and
Oh, yeah.
also the dumb Valentines we never knew what we would get from the boys in the class. And I would just remember, no matter how great our little boxes were decorated, I was so nervous. I stayed up very late figuring out just
Well,
who would get who.
you know, my famous story about Valentine's Day, and in fact, it's what my newspaper column was yesterday. Dick Stacy ruined Valentine's Day for me because in third grade he gave me a toothbrush holder, and it was a little penguin, and it was very cute. You would think that anyone would be thrilled to have a little toothbrush holder like that, but my father smashed it to a million pieces because he informed me, now Dick has got to go to bed about 9. They only want one thing, you know. Well, no, I didn't know. And to tell you the truth, I never found out either. But that certainly took a lot of the joy out of Valentine's Day for me. So anyway, so we can all look back on Valentine's Day with joy. Christopher Johnson, what is the best Valentine you ever got?
Well, the best Valentine I ever got. You know, I'll say the birth of my oldest child. She was due on Valentine's Day, but she decided that she did not want to share her birthday with the holidays, so she came 1 week later.
Oh, that is marvelous. That's really great. One size fits all. So let's see, Barb Kohler, are you here? What was your best Valentine? I see you lurking back there.
I had to unmute.
Okay.
Well, one year the kids sent me chocolate covered strawberries,
Ooh,
which were very yummy.
I would think so. How many?
Oh, I don't know, could have been 8.
Okay, well, I can see why you didn't call me to share then. So anyway, well,
they were huge. They were very good. I had never had chocolate covered strawberries before, so it was great.
Okay, thank you so much. And now let us just kind of wind up with a sort of a review and marching orders, we might say. Stephen, might I say that, or would you? Oh, I see Terry Thal has come in. Terry, what's the best Valentine you ever got?
The best?
Yes.
I can tell you about the worst very easily. Do you want the worst?
I want the worst.
You want the worst? A couple of years ago, I was seeing this guy, and on Valentine's Day, I was at his place, and he gave me a box of chocolates, and there was another box, and I figured, well, he was being cheap. We bought 2 boxes of the same thing. And I ate the ones that he gave me. And a month later, I said, I'd like to open the others. And of course, he said, okay. And then he said to me, why do you want those crappy things? They're very, very old. They're like 2 years old, which that he had reached into a closet and pulled out some crappy thing and given it to me. Duh.
Congratulations. Yeah, well, anyway, I don't
This
know
is
what
her ex. This is her ex-boyfriend now.
this
This is
should
the
so.
this is the guy I departed from some months ago.
Oh, and then I was afraid he was going to depart for a while, but you
No,
didn't.
no, no. I
Didn't kill him, so that was good. Well, really glad to see you, and we're winding right up. So I'm going to ask Stephen, have you got any thoughts or anything that you'd like to see us do before you come back again?
No, I do not, but I would just really encourage everybody to take heart from Joella's and Annie's messages. It's intimidating until you do it the first time, and then whatever it is, whether it's being out on the street with a protest sign or on a bridge with a message or just giving a call. Before you do it the first time, you think, oh, this is going to be really hard. And then you discover, it's actually not that hard at all. And it really does make a difference. We've seen it make a lot of difference in Minneapolis and a lot of places in the last year. So it really matters. Just whatever you feel like you can do, just charge out and do it because it will make a difference.
That is really, I feel like we really have made a good base to start on. So remember, the show is going to be available if you'd like to send it on to friends or whatever. And you can get, we're toying with the idea of making a little list of maybe, what order to do things in. Maybe you and Annie or somebody, some brave person would do it. And we do have the audio clip of how to do what we want to do. But I want to particularly thank Annie because it had never even occurred to me that you could move out like that. So did poor Durgamata get in? Durgamata finally got in. I didn't even know. So all the rest of this is going to happen in the future, but Durgamata is here in the present. My goodness, it looks like you need a little perking up too. How are things going?
Yeah, I'm fascinated because I'm following the American events very closely, and I'm really excited to hear what your ideas are for having some action.
Well,
and I totally understand because, as you know, my heart is still with the Gazans the Palestinians in Gaza, and the ceasefire is not a ceasefire. And I have friends there who are in struggling situations. So I had the idea to make Valentine cards. I'm a silk paint artist.
yes, oh, beautiful.
Painted on silk, and there's roses. They're all unique, all hand painted. And so that's the exciting thing I'm doing. I also make hearts. I was trying to make these blue and yellow for Ukrainians, but of course they turn into green.
Well, sometimes
very nice.
Beautiful, yeah. Yes, well, you'll be getting a copy of the show, the link. Yeah. So let's see what else.
Make gloves.
Oh, beautiful.
And kites. Some of them work out well, some not, but that's, I love you so much because we as a species are one. We're all part of each other. And when we feel happy is when we make other people feel happy, and that makes us feel happy. Why? Because we're part of each other. So I do my workshops every month and they give me joy, and I'm making the cards and trying to help out. I got just 5 families, and it means about 30 people. And I was feeling helpless, but now I got the way to make the cards. I'm doing something. And when you do something, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And once you do something, other things come. If you do nothing, nothing comes. No. So it's my dear little sister, you hang in there. And
yeah, my quote would be, if you ignore suffering, it's not a neutral act. It actually makes the world more cruel.
Yeah.
So we need to do something, not ignore it.
Thank you very
I
much.
love you all, and I pray for America.
We love you too. You take care.
Thank you.
And now we're going to have another of Linda Allen's songs to close with. She has written this one, and it's called Where I Stand. And we'll stand right here first Monday of next month, which is, I'm almost sure, February. It'll be March. Oh, Stephen, you have a birthday coming. Oh, well.
Woman standing in the rain on a cold October day. In her hand she held a sign, it said there must be a better way. By her side her child asked, why do you do the things you do? Once, you know, I did it for me, now I'm doing it for you. So you will know where I stand. You will know who I am. You will know where I stand if it all falls down. Gray were the stones of the courthouse steps, and gray was the autumn sky. Gray were the faces of the passing people looking down as they walked by. Black and white was the news that morning in a world about to die. Red as blood was the sign above, and the child again asked why. So you will know